Okay, hi everybody. You're very welcome to our class this evening, Wednesday evening. You're very welcome wherever you're listening or however you're actually listening, if you're watching this live or watching this on record. I really hope that you're well and thank you for tuning in. So I thought maybe we could begin with just a few minutes breathing meditation and then we can begin with the prayers. I thought for our object of meditation tonight, we could look back in terms of just basically reviewing and contemplating just what we were talking about last week about the actual way to listen to Dharma. So you may remember that there were three analogies of being like somebody who's showed up but not quite there, not quite listening, may as well not have been there maybe. So this is the pot turned upside down, like showed up but not in their mind, they're not there. And then there's maybe showing up with the wrong intention, and we can generate our own intention for this whenever we're doing it. The most supreme one being bodhicitta, where we want to become enlightened for the benefit of everybody. But we generate our own motivation and we do that as pure as we can. And then the last one is being like a leaky pot, which was the, that we can't remember anything that we actually heard. We kind of think, that might be okay, or that actually sounds great. And then we leave and we can't remember anything and we don't bring it into our life. And I thought we could maybe practice this as well as we're listening to the prayers, just to keep our concentration, to set like a motivation maybe as well, and to maybe try and remember some of them, some of the words used, just to begin to like train our mind in concentration and maintaining like a motivation that's pure and not like floating off into our day where we were this morning or where we're going to go afterwards, that we keep our attention like right here. So let's then begin and with some breathing meditation. So again, we just get a posture that you're comfortable in for the meditation and also for the prayers and also for the meditation that follows after the prayers. So if we're seated, our feet can be in the ground and our hands can be in our lap with our thumbs joined, back straight, but feeling relaxed. And if we're comfortable too, we can gently close our eyes. Or if we're feeling a little drowsy or a little like perhaps dull, we can keep them partially opened. And now we just slowly draw our attention to our breath. Feeling the air as it passes through our nostrils on our inhale, on our exhale. And we make a decision that we have showed up for this class, for this session, and that we will do our best to be present mindfully, so we can let go of everything from our day and everything from our week so far, and any plans we may have for our future. And we just give ourselves permission to remain in this moment. by keeping our attention on our breath. We can anchor ourselves to this very moment. We can calm our mind, become more still, and feel a sense of natural peace begin to arrive. And we don't force, we don't push, we just relax. Relaxing any kind of tension that may be in our mind, any expectation of results. We just let all that go. Release our mind from any tension. And with patience and with compassion, we just keep our mind anchored on our breath. Feeling the cool air in the inhale, the warm air in the exhale. We are training our mind in concentration and mindfulness. Just allowing a natural peace to arise in our mind. And we keep this relaxed attitude to remain mindful as we listen to the prayers. And we can also begin to contemplate their meaning. We can listen with an open heart. allowing the essence and the meaning of these prayers to mix with our mind. Beginning to feel their power.
O Blessed One, Shakyamuni Buddha, precious treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace, you who love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us to the liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling jewel. Your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands I turn to you, supreme unchanging friend. I request from the depths of my heart, please give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind, and to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with an unceasing banquet of delight. Through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you, may all suffering quickly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may holy Dhamma flourish forevermore. May the whole ground become completely pure, as level as the palm of a hand, and as smooth as lapis lazuli. May all the space be filled with offerings from gods and men, both set out and imagined, like offerings of thee, O Good One. In the space in front, on a lion throne, on a cushion of lotus, sun and moon, sits Buddha Shakyamuni, the essence of all my kind teachers, surrounded by the assembly of direct and indirect gurus, Yidams, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, heroes, solitary conquerors, heroes, dakinis, and Dharma protectors. I and all my kind mothers, fearing samsara's torments, turn to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the only sources of refuge. From now until enlightenment, to the three jewels we go for refuge. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I and all sentient beings until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Through the virtues I collect by giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. Through the virtues I collect by giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. Through the virtues I collect by giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. From the hearts of all refuge objects, light and nectar stream down and dissolve into myself and all living beings, purifying negative karma and obstructions, increasing our lives, our virtues, and Dharma realization. May everyone be happy. May everyone be free from misery. May no one ever be separated from their happiness. May everyone have equanimity, free from hatred and attachment. You, protector of all beings, great destroyer of hosts of demons, please, O Blessed One, Lord of all, come to this place with your retinue. With my body, speech, and mind, humbly I prostrate, and make offerings both set out and imagined. I confess my wrong deeds from all time, and rejoice in the virtues of all. Please stay until samsara ceases, and turn the wheel of Dharma for us. I dedicate all virtues to great enlightenment. The ground sprinkled with perfume and spread with flowers, the great mountain for land, sun and moon, seen as a Buddha land and offered thus, May all beings enjoy such pure lands. I offer without any sense of loss the objects that give rise to my attachment, hatred, and confusion. My friends, enemies, and strangers are bodies and enjoyments. Please accept these and bless me to be released directly from the three poisons. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami. So now, my most kind root Guru, please sit on the lotus and moon on my crown, and grant me out of your great kindness your body, speech, and mind's attainments. I make request to you, Buddha Shakyamuni, whose body comes from countless virtues, whose speech fulfills the hopes of mortals, whose mind sees clearly all existence. I make request to you, Gurus of the lineage of extensive deeds, Venerable Maitreya, noble Sangha Vasubandhu, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of vastness. I make request to you, Gurus of the lineage of profound view, Venerable Manjushri Nagarjuna Chandrakirti, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the most profound path. I make request to you, Gurus of the lineage of secret mantra, Conqueror Vajradhara, Tilopa, and Naropa, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the path of Tantra. I make request to you, Gurus of the old Kadam lineage, the second Buddha Tisha Drom Tompa Geshe Potawa, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the union of vast and profound paths. I make request to you, Gurus of the new Kadam lineage, Venerable Tsongkhapa Jampal Gyatso Kedrupje, and all the other precious teachers who have revealed the union of Sutra and Tantra. I make request to you, Venerable Khalsang Gyatso, protector of a vast ocean of living beings, unequal teacher of the paths to liberation and enlightenment, who accomplish and explain everything that was revealed by the fourth deliverer of this fortunate eon. I make request to you, my kind precious teacher, who care for those with uncontrolled minds, untamed by all the previous Buddhas, as if they were fortunate disciples. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and all my mothers, so that we may quickly stop all perverse minds, from disrespect for our kind teacher, to the most subtle jewel appearance. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, so that we may quickly generate pure minds, from respect for our kind teacher, to the supreme mind of union. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, to pacify all outer and inner obstructions. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and all my mothers, so that we may quickly stop all perverse minds, from disrespect for our kind teacher, to the most subtle jewel appearance. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, so that we may quickly generate pure minds, from respect for our kind teacher, to the supreme mind of union. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, to pacify all outer and inner obstructions. Please pour down your inspiring blessings upon myself and all my mothers, so that we may quickly stop all perverse minds, from disrespect for our kind teacher, to the most subtle jewel appearance. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, so that we may quickly generate pure minds, from respect for our kind teacher, to the supreme mind of union. Please pour down your inspiring blessings, to pacify all outer and inner obstructions. From the hearts of all the holy beings, streams of light and nectar flow down, granting blessings and purifying. The path begins with strong reliance on my kind teacher, source of all good. Oh, bless me with this understanding to follow him with great devotion. This human life with all its freedoms extremely rare, with so much meaning. Oh, bless me with this understanding all day and night to seize its essence. My body like a water bubble decays and dies so very quickly. After death come results of karma, just like the shadow of a body. With this for knowledge and remembrance, bless me to be extremely cautious, always avoiding harmful actions and gathering abundant virtue. Samsara's pleasures are deceptive, give no contentment, only torment. So please bless me to strive sincerely to gain the bliss of perfect freedom. Oh, bless me so that from this pure thought come mindfulness and greatest caution, to keep as my essential practice the doctrine's root, the Pratimoksha. Just like myself, all my kind mothers are drowning in samsara's ocean. Oh, so that I may soon release them, bless me to train in bodhicitta. But I cannot become a Buddha by this alone, without three ethics. So bless me with the strength to practice the Bodhisattva's ordination, by pacifying my distractions and analyzing perfect meanings. Bless me to quickly gain the union of special insight and quiescence. When I become a pure container through common paths, bless me to enter the essence practice of good fortune, the supreme vehicle Vajrayana. The two attainments both depend on my sacred vows and my commitments. Bless me to understand this clearly and keep them at the cost of my life. By constant practice in 4 sessions, the way explained by holy teachers. Oh, bless me to gain both the stages which are the essence of the Tantras. May those who guide me on the good path and my companions all have long lives. Bless me to pacify completely all obstacles, outer and inner. May I always find perfect teachers and take delight in holy Dharma. Accomplish all grounds and paths swiftly, and gain the state of Vajradhara.
Using our imagination and a mind of faith, we imagine that all the gurus, lights and nectars, have mixed with our mind at our heart. We identify our mind as a vast and boundless continuum, without beginning, without end. And our mind has mixed like water mixing with water, with the minds of all the holy beings, purifying, pacifying. We imagine our mind expands, filling the whole of space with lights and nectars of wisdom, of love, compassion, and kindness. We just imagine, believing we are a boundless, fathomless space, empty like space, mixing with all the minds of all the holy beings. having faith that our mind is purified and pacified. Our mind is the nature of all the virtuous minds, compassion for all living beings, of love for all living beings, and of wisdom. And we hold this feeling or this thought. We let this touch our heart. Feeling the sense of boundless love, compassion and wisdom. Feeling a connection with all living beings, with all enlightened beings. It's just one. And with this sense of expansive space, of a deep connection with everyone, and with our guru at our heart, and we can begin to contemplate the way to listen to Dharma by abandoning the three faults. And we can consider the first of being like a pot turned upside down, where we arrive and we are physically at a discourse, or we have adopted the posture of reading a book, but we are so inattentive and distracted that no matter how many words we hear, how many words we read, no Dharma actually enters our mind. So we are present, but we are inattentive. So we make the strong determination to listen well. If I hear Dharma or I read Dharma, I would take it as personal advice for me, and I will listen well. Then we can consider the second fault of the bad smelling pot, where we listen or we read attentively without letting our mind wander. But our motivation is incorrect. And we can conclude that any Dharma we listen to or read is wasted when we listen with an incorrect motivation. So we can check our motivation and always be mindful of revisiting it and firstly setting a virtuous motivation, a pure motivation. And we can set our own personal one, whether we listen for ourselves, to be benefit to ourselves, listening to benefit ourselves and everybody we meet, or the supreme motivation of bodhicitta, where we listen to gain enlightenment so we can benefit each and every living being. And so we can set our own motivation without judgment and whatever we feel most comfortable with. And so we can make the determination to listen well and to listen the best way with a pure motivation. Finally, we can consider the third fault to be like a leaky pot. This is where we listen or we read attentively and we have a good motivation, but we quickly forget what we have heard and what we have been taught. If we cannot remember Dharma, how can we put it into practice? So we set a determination in our mind to listen well, to listen the best way, and to retain the Dharma in our mind. So for the last part of this meditation, we can make a determination that the actual way we will listen to Dharma or read Dharma is to listen well, meaning with attention, to listen the best way, meaning with a good motivation, and to listen to retain it in our mind. So with single pointed determination and concentration, we decide to listen well, to listen the best way, and to retain the Dharma in our mind. When I listen to or read Dharma, I will listen well. I will listen the right way, the best way, and I will retain the Dharma in my mind so I can practice. I will listen well. I will listen the best way. I will retain it in my mind. And we hold this determination with a single point concentration at our hearts for the next few minutes. And slowly we can just relax our concentration, becoming aware of our room and our body. And when ready, we can open our eyes and we can arise from meditation. Okay, so I just think it's a wonderful way to listen to anything, really. It's where listening to our friend, that we listen well, we listen, we're attentive, that we listen with a good intention. Um, we can like remember what they're saying to us. it's like it's like we're present with a good heart, and we're going to do our best. It's and that can be that we don't have to say anything. It doesn't mean that we have to carry great actions, but we're just there. We're just present. We have a good presence with us. We've got a good like motivation, and it means something. It's rather than, well, I can't talk about you, but usual thinking about everything else, but what somebody's saying or what we're reading. It's nice to be present. It's nice to have a good actually motivation, and with anything. If we're feeding birds, just to tune in. Um, Everybody suffers. Everybody wants to be happy, and we can give food, like a crumb of food, with a crumb of anything, a seed to a bird or to an insect, with fantastic motivation. It's very, very powerful. So, okay, so we've finished last week at page 41. We were considering the benefits of teaching Dharma, and there are many benefits here that are actually listed. And I think we'd reached as far as number 11. So one of the benefits are that the Buddhas will be delighted with us. And they will be anyway, if we're listening and we're showing up with good intentions. So like they're going to be delighted with us. The deities will cause physical strength, will cause our physical strength and power to increase. 13, the deities will give us protection. And 14, external enemies will not be able to harm us. 15, our relationships with friends and relatives will improve. 16, our speech will become very influential. And 17, we will become confident in explaining Dharma to others. 18, we will be praised and respected by those who are wise. There you go. 19, people will trust what we say. And 20, we will always be happy. So many different benefits to that, many different reasons, many different things to consider, many things to also actually meditate on, and I think it's said before, and it's said a wee bit later in terms of just our intention, in terms of if somebody's going to teach Dharma, what they're coming with. These benefits are great, and we explore a little bit later as to what the key ingredients or the key minds to bring that a teacher brings. And maybe you've heard teachers and you just get that, there's something about them. It's that thing where they're attentive, they're like motivations very, very pure. You can sense it. They're there, and there's something different, something very, very spiritual there, something very inner. And it isn't about them. It's not about how great they are. So then it explains a little bit later, just after this, that it's karma. It introduces karma, and there's a section on karma later in this book. So we'll maybe explain it. We'll explain further. We'll come back to karma again, but it says the first 6 benefits, which were mentioned above, are effects similar to the cause. So what does this mean? It says they are future experiences similar to the experiences gained by others as a result of our giving Dharma to them. So, for example, when we teach Dharma, the mindfulness and wisdom of those who listen increase. And as a result, our own mindfulness and wisdom increase. So that's a particular type of effect, which is similar to the cause. And if you're not quite sure what that means just yet, it is not a problem. It's explored actually later. Karma, there's an entire chapter on karma, but you can maybe get the kind of essence of it there. And it says that the next four benefits, that's freedom from attachment, hatred, ignorance, and demonic interference. These 4 benefits are effects of separation or freedom from 4 faults. So it actually names there that you get freedom from these things, freedom from the three poisons, and also from demonic interference. And the next 9 benefits are environmental effects, and the remaining benefit is a ripened effect. The various effects of actions, which is karma, will be explained in more detail below. At this point, it is sufficient to know that there are 2 types of effects similar to the cause. So the first effect is experiences that are effects similar to the cause. And the second type are tendencies that are effects similar to the cause. The 6 effects similar to the cause, which are mentioned above, are all of the first type. So these are experiences similar to the cause. Tendencies that are effects similar to the cause are not mentioned explicitly, but they are implied. For example, as a result of our giving Dharma, in the future we will be happy to give Dharma teachings, happy to listen to Dharma, and happy to study and practice Dharma. So these are like tendencies, if this is our action, there will be a tendency, there will be experience similar to that cause, the action being the actual cause, and there's also tendencies. And those tendencies there would be happy hearing Dharma, understanding Dharma, listening, practicing. These are tendencies. They're the wonderful tendencies. So there are no obstructions there. It's those kind of obstructions. If we hear Dharma, those kind of obstructions have gone. So before we teach Dharma, we need to have studied many instructions and get personal experience by putting them into practice. So this comes back to this every time. We can hear something and we can get a grasp of it or get an essence of what it's saying and think, oh, that's great, and it feels great. And it's at this point, it's actually knowledge. We've got this knowledge, and we're walking about with like the knowledge. I know how to solve that problem, but we're not actually doing it. It hasn't become experience yet. We haven't put that into practice. So it's great with our studies, and great with everything we're doing, our reading, our contemplating, meditating, and then we experience it. We use it in practice. We use it in everyday life. We kind of use it to solve our human problems. You've probably heard us reading from this book before, and these are talking about inner problems. How to solve our inner problems using Dharma. So just where we put them into practice. And when the time comes for us to teach, we should contemplate all of the benefits of teaching Dharma. Then we will develop enthusiasm and consider ourselves extremely fortunate to be able to create so much good karma by giving instructions to others. I think naturally people generally, Buddhist or non-Buddhist, believe in karma of some level. Like it's really everywhere now. You kind of see it written everywhere. what you put in, our actions is really what you get back. So it's these are great actions. Teaching Dharma from the teachers that it's incredible karma. It's creating incredible you know cause and effect. It's creating incredible effects for the future. Um, Provided that those who receive the instructions actually want to put them into practice. Giving Dharma is much more beneficial than giving material wealth. Material wealth can help only for one short lifetime, whereas the gift of Dharma will help in this life and in all future lives. And again, if we believe in past and future lives, or even if we're thinking about it, it makes perfect sense that in terms of our actions, in terms of what we carry with us from life after life, what our at our checkout at death, we can only take our actions. We can't take our bags. Can't take any baggage or any suitcases. We can't take anything. We have to leave everything behind, like everything, including our very body. Our friends and family, everything, our wealth, possessions, our job, everything goes. And the only thing we bring with us, in a very subtle mind, is our karma. Or actually our actions. Um, so yeah, we can don't have to pack any bags. Uh, so and it's great knowing that, because I know we say we're going to talk about it a wee bit later, but karma is like we're creating karma like moment by moment. It's like what we think, say, and do. It's karma. If we make a decision in our mind, it's karma. If we say something, karma. If we act, karma. Um, and it's great, like wisdom. This is what's creating my suffering. This is what's creating my happiness, my own karma that I'm bringing with me from life after life. And purification practices are so relevant here, and we talk about those a wee bit later. Um, okay, and I suppose one thing, just in terms of teaching Dharma, is that generally we become teachers whenever we're like requested to. Um, and I suppose the most important thing really isn't teaching; it's really being a qualified disciple, like basically now a student. It's always been a student and being a qualified one, and we talk about that later as well. Um, the only thing that qualifies us to be a teacher is to be a qualified student, really. Um, that's what actually qualifies us. Um, yeah. Okay. So following on, and the next section is increasing faith and respect for Dharma and its teachings and its teacher. So whenever we give Dharma to others, we remember the kindness of Buddha Shakyamuni and the preeminent qualities of Dharma thinking. If I now have any ability to teach, it is entirely through the kindness of Buddha. The Dharma I am giving is the supreme gift of temporary and ultimate benefit to others. So it's teaching with actual reverence, teaching with respect, and by thinking in this way. Like, the only reason why I'm teaching is because of the kindness, and the kindness of actually Buddha. And by believing that, by having that faith in that, we can contemplate it and then with the faith, but we receive incredible blessings from that. It's just like having that mind of faith. It's because of other, it's because of kindness of other, because of kindness of Buddha. It's very light. There's incredible blessings with that. The Dharma I'm giving is the supreme gift of temporary and ultimate benefit to others. Like, it's incredible, it's an incredible thing to be able to offer. So the next session, the attitudes to cultivate and the way to conduct yourself when teaching Dharma. So like the attitudes are like our like position or like our view, and generally changing our view to objects in general, the attitudes to cultivate and the way to conduct yourself when teaching Dharma. It's our view that really, our view is so much, it's got so much power. It's our view that's what makes us see objects as either virtues or like non-virtues, If someone gets angry with us, we can view that person with anger. We can view that person with like a non-virtuous mind, or we can view that person with somebody we can practice patience, we can practice compassion, we can practice love. The same object, exact same object, but how we view that object is really our choice. Like nobody can make us angry. Nobody can make us do something. We have complete choice as to how we view what our view is. So powerful. It's like freedom. This object, I can view it in a non-virtuous way, or I can view it the exact opposite. It's not generally how we work that way, but when we teach Dharma, we do so out of love and compassion. So this is love. This is love, just wishing everybody to be happy. This is not love, the kind of attached love that generally we have around of like, what can you do for me? This is pure love. This is this like that wish that everybody can be happy, as I say, is that supreme gift of temporary and ultimate benefit to others. That wish, sort of like a strong sense of love, compassion. May all others be happy. May all others be free of suffering. Yeah, it's to experience a teaching where that's where our teacher's coming from. It's out of pure love and compassion for us. It's absolutely incredible. We feel that. Even if it's what our delusions or our self-grasping or our self-cherishing doesn't like, it's out of that love and compassion that it's making us think. If we're thinking about karma and thinking about how we react, how we act, part of us mightn't like that. Like there's a self-cherishing part that may not like that. But if it's done out of love, if it's that message is actually delivered with love, compassion for that person, it's so pure. So thinking these people have not gained experience of Dharma, therefore they have problems without freedom or control. How wonderful it would be if they could overcome these and enjoy the supreme bliss of enlightenment. I will now explain Dharma to help eliminate their problems and attain ultimate happiness. So again, this is a view. It's a remarkable view. Yeah, it's just it just seems to be a continuum here of just pure intention, constantly back up after each one, just that pure intention constantly coming through. And it continues with a motivation like this. We teach recognizing, number one, that all living beings experience mental pain because they are afflicted with the disease of delusions. 2, Dharma is the medicine for those who receive it. 3, I myself am a spiritual doctor. 4, the kindness of Buddha Shakyamuni is the source of my own ability to teach and others' ability to receive Dharma. So it's with this kind of motivation. It was a bit like previously we talked about the 6 recognitions. So actually, there's one more, really. And 5, how wonderful it would be if, with the help of my own teaching and practice, Dharma flourishes in the world for a very long time. So again, we talked a wee bit last week about our mental disease, the disease, our mental, like things that are causing us so much suffering, our anger and our self-critical attitudes about ourselves and others, our fault finding, our like ruminations, our different things that keep us up at night. We look very well. We might be incredibly fit, but we can't sleep. We've got a clean bill of health from the doctor. You're the most healthy person. You've got all your vitamins. You've taken all your spirulina that you can take, but I can't sleep. It's like we've got mental pain. You know, and Dharma can soothe that, can completely eradicate that. And as we were saying last week, if we went to a doctor and we're saying we're very sick, we feel very well, we don't feel well, we will listen to what that person says. We will listen to what she actually tells us. Drink water, do this, do 5 things, and we will go back and we will do that. We'll do everything they actually say because we want rid of this. We want to feel well again. And so we do that. We do this with this like same attitude. So then continues that when we teach Dharma, we should be clean. There you go. And appropriately dressed, because this would be appreciated by those who listen, and it helps them to develop respect. Out of respect for Dharma, the teacher should have a raised seat. At the first meeting of Buddha Shakyamuni, disciples after his passing away, 500 photo stories. So a photo story you can check also in the index. This is a very realized person, has achieved liberation, has abandoned samsara. Took off their saffron robes and placed them one upon the other to make a throne for Nanda. By laying down their robes in this way, the disciples were honoring Dharma. The teacher may be very humble in his or her own mind, but should sit on a raised seat to acknowledge the preeminence of Dharma. This holds even if the teacher has taken the 8 Mahayana precepts, which include the precept of avoiding sitting on a raised or luxurious seats. So this is coming from, some of you may know, and you can look at the Sadhana. I'm pulling up 2 things here. So it's from if you can see that, it's from this Sadhana Pure Life. And this is the practice of taking and keeping the 8 Mahayana precepts, which we do sometimes, and we keep them for 24 hours, And one of them is that we should not sit on a raised seat or a platform. But if we're teaching, it's given us permission to actually do that. Before sitting, the teaching makes 3 prostrations, imagining that his or her own spiritual guide is on the seat, surrounded by all the lineage gurus of the instructions he is about to give. He or she imagines that the lineage gurus absorb into his principal spiritual guide. He then comes to the crown of his head and descends to his heart. The teacher then sits and prepares to teach. So it's a practice, and a very pure practice, that before we teach this beautiful tantric, imagery, like a visualization, all the Buddhas dissolving, our principal spiritual guide, whoever that is, it can be whoever actually yours is, descends, that he comes to the crown of our head and descends to our heart. And then the teacher sits and prepares to teach. I remember once there's a teaching I heard, and the teacher came in, and for some classes, we do the 3 prostrations here for the foundation program. We don't generally do them for general program for the Thursday night classes or for the Monday nights, because if people are new, it can look unusual. So we don't want it to feel too heavy. But this teacher came in and he didn't do 3 prostrations, but there was just a pause between him in front of the, for the picture, the image of his spiritual guide. It was just this incredible pause. I didn't know what was going on at that point in his mind. I didn't know what he was doing, but I could feel the power of that pause. And it wasn't just that and it wasn't like this long pause that went off for a long time, but it was, it was, it was in essence what he was doing with his mind that was so powerful. I didn't know it at that time, but I was just like, even before he had taken his seat, before he went up to the throne, and there was just this sense of something incredible, and he was doing that with his mind, already purifying, dissolving, visualizing, all of that. And the essence of that, the meaning of that, his faith was already actually resonating, even though I didn't know what was going on, I could feel something which I can remember to this very day, and I think whenever I look back in that, it was because it was something so pure, there's very pure intention, very humble, great humility, great wisdom. I mean, like he hadn't even spoken, and already there was something like something incredible happening. The teacher then sits and prepares to teach. Traditionally, before the discourse, the teacher and disciples eliminate obstacles by reciting mantras or reciting the Heart Sutra and applying the method for overcoming hindrances. I'm going to come back to that. They then perform the 6 preparations to accumulate merit and purify negativity, both of which are necessary if the disciples are to gain the realizations of the Dharma that is to be taught. The teacher and disciples then offer the mandala and request the lineage gurus to bestow blessings and inspiration to gain realizations. To develop the best motivation, the teacher leads the recitation of the prayer of going for refuge and generating bodhicitta. If we are unable to make all these preparations, we must at least offer the mandala and recite a prayer of going for refuge and generating bodhicitta. Generating bodhicitta has the same effect as reciting the Heart Sutra. The teacher recites, I and all sentient beings, until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Through the virtues I collect by teaching Dharma, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all. The students recite, I and all sentient beings, until we achieve enlightenment, go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Through the virtues I collect by listening to Dharma, may I become a Buddha to benefit all. As the teacher explains Dharma, he or she should have a pleasant, smiling expression to bring out the meaning more clearly. He or she should elaborate by skillfully applying logical reasoning, quoting readily from the scriptures, and using vivid examples that are relevant to the experience of those who listen. So the I just so yeah, there's, I suppose the essence of what's been saying here is that these prayers, there's great benefit in reciting these prayers mentally, of going for refuge, of generating bodhicitta, of setting that intention, of the visualization, of the purification mantras, of the recitations, and they can be found if you're, these are actually explained, by the way, later, because the sadhana that we listen to for the prayers that we listen to before class, the essence of good fortune, the commentary to that is actually this book, So every part of those prayers will be explained as we progress through those books. Um, but briefly, if you wanted to read up before, well, you can read it. You can read ahead. But the Heart Sutra is also can be read in this sadhana. Perhaps you have it, which is the Great Mother, which is basically a method to overcome hindrances and obstacles by reciting the essence of the Wisdom Sutra or the Heart Sutra. And this can also be found in the book, The New Heart of Wisdom. I have the, the older version here, which is the Heart of Wisdom. But it's available if you want to read it. And in this tradition, they also use the practice of heart dual, which you're probably more familiar with. Um, but yeah, I think it's also important to do this, but also to keep it light, because it's maybe people as as the teachers, maybe we don't want to be too heavy, we don't want because um, and you want to progress in like your own way, like a bit like me. Whenever I was hearing it, and I could see it and I could feel something, but I didn't know what that was. And even now, I don't. I'm still actually learning that. But if somebody had explained all this to me instantly, it might have just like been too much. So we learn at our own progress. But if we feel it, like even a pause, like the person's doing all these practices in seconds, but it's not rushed. And he was doing it. And even though I didn't have a clue what was happening, what he was thinking, what was actually going on in his mind, it generated a power that I could feel, like something that I can actually remember. And even to think of it now, I can go right back to that feeling I had. And the feeling was of like, even before the man spoke, it was like basically, it was actually maybe actually respect, a sense of like purity, excuse me, that what was coming and what was happening was coming from purity. And that was his intention. That was his, everything he was doing with his mind. But physically, all you could see was somebody like standing upright with their hands prostrated. It was just like it's powerful. So we just take our own time, and we also respect other people. It's like we were saying before, like we only teach if we're actually requested. But if we're sharing Dharma to our friends or family, we only do it if it's actually requested. Like it becomes annoying if become annoying to your friends and family if you begin sharing Dharma whenever it's not asked for. It's like we try and be that example. So maybe someone asks, like, what are you doing with your mind? Because you're like changing, and then we can say, well, I'm trying this or I'm doing that. But we kind of lead by example, we be that example, we be that change that people look and think, goodness, what's happened to um, a random person, which I don't want to say a name, but what's happened to Jose, and they ask, like, basically, what are you doing? Like, what? And you can say, well, I've been actually meditating and I've been doing A, B, C, D, and E. So we wait until it's actually requested. Um, and then finally, before we engage in the breakout room, recognizing who should be taught and who should not be taught. So in the Vinayana Sutra, Buddha says that in general, Dharma should be taught only when it is requested. So if people show up to our classes, we take that as being basically now a request. Or if somebody contacts us and say, can you come and teach in stuff somewhere, that is also basically now a request. So if we do that. Nevertheless, if a request is made by someone who has no faith in Dharma and no real wish to practice, the instructions should not be given. On the other hand, if no request has been made, but someone has a sincere wish to practice, Dharma can be taught. And then finally, the concluding sage comment to the teacher and to the student. When a teacher is finished, The teacher and the students to keep the merit they have gained to their attainment of enlightenment for the sake of all other living beings. If there is time, mandala can be offered in thanks to the teacher, but there is no fault if this is omitted. So maybe you know what a mandala is, or maybe not, but again, it's this incredible, just briefly, and again, it's explained later in the text, but we, through imagination and with faith and with purity and with with as much of a pure mind as we can, we offer the entire universe, and that's explained. It's like we're constantly giving offerings. Like in these prayers, we're looking for blessings, but the prayers are generated from um, giving them giving offerings. We can give imaginary offerings, we can give offerings to a shrine, and we can offer a mandala. Where we offer the entire universe as being a pure universe and many universes. But anyway, if that doesn't make any sense, it's fine, but because we'll learn about it later. So, okay, so it's now just after past. So it's breakout room time. So let's see how this works. But I'll be back then in 20 minutes. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.